Hello, amazing students. I know many of you are still worried about this upcoming paper. I read your post on the discussion board. All this talk about I'm not a good writer and I hate writing papers is totally normal. However, my suggestion is to all the negative talk is to, well, get over it and find something to connect to in your paper, or it will be a dreadful process. Let me help. Let's break down how this first paper should go. First, you want to pick the piece you like the most or hate the least. When you choose the poem, find a concept. For example, Barbie doll. A concept can be low self-esteem with women or bullying from childhood to adulthood. Once I pick my concept, I should be trying to see where the writer shows this concept in the song or poem. You cannot write a paper about the concept itself. The goal of the paper is to show where the audience can see the concept in the piece. Another example would be changes. If I said my concept was poverty in urban neighborhoods, then guess what I'm going to try to prove in the paper? I'm going to show where Tupac expresses the problems with poverty in urban neighborhoods. Comb through the poem to prove where you can see the concept and find examples to back it up. At no point in the paper should I write my personal opinions about the problems with urban neighborhoods or add research. This is literally picking a concept and seeing where the writer shows it in their piece. It is literally that simple, or can be. Let's talk about the thesis statement. Your thesis statement is going to show what you are going to prove in the paper, right? So make sure what I'm asking you, you are actually answering. For example, I'm asking you to find the concept in the work, so your thesis should look similar to this. Piercy successfully showed how bullying can impact a woman from childhood to adulthood. For example, I'm asking you to find a concept in the work, so your thesis should look similar to this. Piercy successfully showed how bullying can impact a woman from childhood to adulthood that can lead to her untimely death or separation from negative people. In my thesis, what am I trying to prove? Notice, my thesis statement isn't bullying can impact a woman her whole entire life. This isn't a good one because it doesn't respond to the prompt. Your goal is to pick a concept in the poem and show me where the concept is shown throughout the piece. Layout. Make sure your introduction is laid out correctly. In our class, this is what I look for in the introduction. Your hook. An interesting point can be a quote, a question, a statement, whatever pulls in the reader. For example, you know it's funny when it rains, it pours. They got money for wars but can't feed the poor. Tupac. That's an example of a hook. Short bio. Explain what the piece in your paper is focused on, who wrote it, and what it's about in 1 to 2 sentences. For example, Percy wrote a poem called Barbie Doll that is about a young woman who reflects on how criticism shaped her life. Main points. Summary points of what your paper is about. You can have 2 to 3 main points. Thesis statement. What you are arguing or claiming in your paper. Your body paragraphs are the bulk of the paper. You'd have 2 to 3 main points. For example, if I'm talking about bullying, one paragraph can show how a child's bullying can start from the time they're on the playground. Main point 2, Piercy shows how gender roles are applied to children to conform them into people they may not want to be that can lead into bullying. Main point 3, Barbie doll can be modernized because people continue to face these issues Piercy's talking about even today. Each of your main points should be a paragraph that's 6 to 8 sentences. You can have 2 to 3 main points. You don't have to have 3. It's up to you. Some people are wordier than others, and that's okay. Lastly, the closing, even easier. Restated thesis, wrapped up main points, closing hook. It is the twin to the introduction, but not identical. I actually suggest students not write their opening until the paper is done. Only because your ideas might change as you write, and sometimes it is harder to know what you're going to write until you write it. Unless you have a strong outline, I would wait on the intro. When you're editing, do not forget 5 literary terms. Do not use first or second person. Remove all contractions. Read your work out loud for sentence structure. There you have it. Paper 1 completely broken down. All you have to do this week is focus on the paper. You got this. If you need more help, remember there are tutors at every campus site. Utilize them or shoot me an email. Have a fantastic week.